Hello, everybody. We call that take two in the business. That's going from muted to unmuting. So I think we got that. How is everyone today? Let me know where you're watching from. Say hey. Let me know how you're doing, especially now today. I'm looking behind me. So I want to elevate this here. So hang on. But I just want to know how everyone's doing, how you're feeling. What things are like wherever you are in the world. Always tell me, hey, where you're watching from. Super duper important for me to know. It just connects us so much more and helps me not feel like I'm just talking to no one. So always and Utah, here we go. Hello, Alexia in Salt Lake City. How are things today there? How are you feeling? Here in Israel, the weather is beautiful. Schools are back in session. We haven't sent our kids. We waited about 2 weeks just to be a little bit extra cautious. And now there are about over 2,000 kids in schools in quarantine right now. And some schools have closed. So we decided to wait another week to see how things are going. So for us here at Status Quo, even though the country on a certain level is definitely opening up more. So that's how it's going over here. And we have some exciting and lovely, wonderful guests today. I'm so excited for today's show. We have Naomi Nachman, who is a dear, dear friend of mine. He's going to come on, a cookbook author, a culinary teacher, travel food blogger. And we also have Nissim coming on, who is a world-renowned rapper. So very, very, very exciting, and a neighbor of mine. So Sharon, good morning to you in Buffalo. How are things up there in Buffalo? How are things? How are you guys holding up? I know there's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on there in America specifically now. A lot of unrest, a lot of challenging times, a lot of difficulty. And so we hope that Feed Your Soul will bring just a little bit of sweetness and happiness and joy to your lives right now. So obviously, the concept of the show is always to make sure that we are feeding your soul both physically and spiritually, right? We have to nourish ourselves on all levels. And we know that food does that, but we also just like to put the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. And in addition to having always a really amazing culinary star and good friend of mine, we also always have a guest at the end, a special inspiring guest. And so today's second guest is Nissim, and my first guest is Naomi Nachman, just a dear, dear friend of mine. So I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about Naomi. I'm going to be showing her book now here just so that you can see. And here's a little bit about Naomi. So Naomi is a food and travel blogger. She's a cookbook author, culinary teacher on Zoom, so you could book your private Zoom lesson with her, a Chopped competition host, a brand ambassador, and a very dear friend. She's the author of Perfect Flavors and more. Here, let us welcome Naomi Nachman to the show. Yay!
It's nice to see you.
I miss you so much.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We spent so much time together in Israel in January. We never, ever, Svi and I talk about it all the time, like we never would have thought that trip to Israel would have been like screeching halts at all the travel we've done in the last, from the last couple of years, but we traveled so extensively right before that.
Yeah. Did you have your fill? Are you okay? Because you have traveled the world a bit, Naomi, or do you have ants in your pants to get out?
I have ants in my pants to get out. In fact, yesterday we went on a tour for all the Israelis watching. We went on a tour and we went to Connecticut, which was open, and I never break any rules. I'm very much a rule follower throughout life. So we went to this park that was open. They had big signs, social distancing. Whoever sees it on my Instagram, I put on my story, there's a big sign 6 feet apart. We went on this hike and we had a picnic with our family. I took my Shavuos leftovers and we got out and it had a tree from the Revolutionary War. I found that so fascinating. Like, I loved it, but I've had enough. I can't.
You're ready. You're ready. I know. I think a lot of us are ready. Naomi Briggs says hi. Jenny's watching. Maury say hi in Roswell, Georgia. Hey, Maury, how you doing? He said, what are we making today, Naomi?
Well, I thought for you it's the middle of the afternoon, but for me it's morning time. So James said, can you do a video, a demo for cooking? I'm like, oh, I'm doing breakfast food. So I've already got my that was really easy.
But Naomi, even though it's 4:05 p.m. here, I haven't had breakfast either. So just send me some for the stream, baby.
Jamie's probably been working since like 6 a.m. Got the kids out and then went back to.
Except the kids are still here. They're not in school yet.
And I mean out, right? We put that in quotes. Sit down and do your Zoom, you know?
Totally. Okay, so talk to me. Let's get cooking.
I thought we would do breakfast quesadillas because I love quesadillas. Whenever they're on a menu at a restaurant, I always order them. So I thought, let's do some, I'm trying to like lose a little weight after all the yontas and the cheesecakes. But you can do all different variations of this. It doesn't have to be, you can toast these in a toaster.
I love it. Well, show people what you're using,
this
Naomi.
Is a quesadilla. It's a flat. This happens to be flour quesadilla. You can also do corn ones, but the corn ones need like cooking a little bit more, like inside.
So that's a flour tortilla.
This is a tortilla.
Yes, we're gonna turn it into a quesadilla.
Did I say?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, it's morning-ish for me. And you should know, this whole thing, I don't sleep well at night anymore, so my whole sleep schedule's off. This is a tortilla. We're going to turn it into a quesadilla. But if you want to do a little bit healthy, you can spray it with Pam, put it on your frying pan, put some cheese on top or some egg white omelette, and you're good to go. But
excellent.
We're going to do something a little bit more indulgent because,
there's like, you don't need a reason right now.
And this is feeding your soul, feeding your friends, even through the
Hey, Melanie. I got a little carried away. I'm really hungry.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make you a little bit more hungry. Maybe you'll bring it. I'll give you some. You give it to Michal.
Only Michal. We're not feeding Simi.
Yeah, nah. So okay. So all right, here we go. So we're starting.
Go, baby, go. This is it. We're live.
All right, so it's funny. Jamie is usually on my radio show. I have a radio show on the Nachum Single Network, and Jamie's my guest, and now I'm her guest. So it's so nice to share.
It's so happy to reciprocate and to be on the other end of things with you, Naomi, and everyone who's coming in late. Naomi's a superstar. She's a cookbook author. She's a food and travel blogger. She does private Zoom cooking classes. She does chopped competitions whenever we get back to doing events, and she has a radio show on the Nachum Single Network. Okay, cook.
Okay, quite a mouthful. Okay, we take some butter because everything with butter is better. So we're just gonna oh, good, my oven works. Quite often when I do a demo, somehow when you clean it, it doesn't always click.
Yes.
Like I'm doing a demo. Turn on.
Totally.
We're gonna melt our butter. I've got 2 eggs here. So first we're gonna make our eggs.
Okay, excellent.
I'm gonna season it with. Well, when it's in the pan, but the spice, you use whatever spices you like. I'm a big fan of chili powder and cumin. They are like...
Oh, very nice, Nay. I love that.
My favorite spices.
Whenever I smell cumin, I feel like I smell the shook. I don't know if you have that. It just pulls me back.
I know, and now we're dreaming about the shook to go. But
I miss it.
It's not going around, right?
So it's been 2.5 months since I used to go every single week to Yerushalayim at least, and I'll be there on Wednesday on my first day back.
Okay. I hope you'll do us some favor and send us some Instagram.
I'll do. I will, babe.
Okay. So here is our butter melting. We want it to get nice and hot. We're gonna cook our egg first.
Okay.
Just get that last bit of butter. Okay, and we're just going to cook. This is 2 eggs with yolks. We want to let it just cook for a minute, then we're going to
Sure.
I'm just going to grab my spatula. You think you grab everything before.
I know, it always happens. Hi, Melody in Oklahoma.
What did I forget now? All right, we're going to do it this way. I just got all this from the kosher cook, all this blue stuff.
So cute.
Because I didn't have any blue equipment left.
Right, I hear that.
And you don't have so much blue in your case.
Yep.
She sent me all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's like my bridal shower. But you get all this new equipment. I'm like, oh, cool.
You have to renew your vows, Naomi. You renew the vows.
We're about to we got married on Tu B'Av, actually, and it's going to be.
Wow, so Tu B'Av is the Jewish Valentine's Day. There's great celebrations all over Israel for that. Naomi, how many years?
27.
Unbelievable.
And it went like that.
I was going to say, has it been utter bliss, Naomi? Tell me.
Utter bliss. But, everybody has moments. But thank God we're on the same page. You want to be on the same page.
Yeah.
With friends, with your spouse, with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now our egg is cooking.
Okay. Oh, I see cheese. Naomi.
Oh, now we love cheese.
Yes.
So we're just going to do something simple, but you could do feta cheese. You can do goat cheese.
I love it.
Do you eat goat cheese?
I love goat cheese. I won't talk to anyone who doesn't like goat cheese. I love feta. I love Parmesan in omelets. I also love Naomi cheddar in omelets.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Okay.
So now I'm just going to take a little bit of our chili powder and I'm going to season the egg.
Hey, Paula. Good morning in Pittsburgh. Go ahead. Keep going, babe.
And cumin. Okay. So now.
Okay.
So it looks pretty good.
It looks great.
Now I'm just going to fold it over a little bit.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Perfect fold, baby.
I'm very excited about this. My husband will be very excited because I'm going to give this to him to eat.
Naomi has been, everyone should know, making her husband lunch for work and packing it for 27 years. Is that the secret to your happy marriage? Because I don't know the last time I made hubby lunch. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a secret, but it became necessity when we first got married.
Right.
He was in law school and there was nowhere to buy lunch near law school, so I made him lunch and it just stuck. I'd sooner make my husband lunch and my kids.
Oh, so.
All right, watch what I'm doing now.
Okay.
This is the quesadilla, the tortilla, which is the quesadilla. That's going to be the running thing. It's going into my pan, okay? And in the same butter. And if you need to add more butter, now please, went around the world, if you're not Australian, say butter. It's a lot more fun.
I think when you cook with that accent, everything will come out better. So everything is better with butter. Keep going, baby.
Yeah, there was an ad when I was growing up in Australia. It was for the dairy industry, and it was called Butter is Better.
Yeah, and it is.
It kind of stuck with me, even though I don't even live in Australia anymore. So
although you sound like you still live there, baby.
Right? They all crazy be doing. I can't go to Australia either. I'd have to go into
quarantine. Wow. You have to go into quarantine there as well. Yeah.
Parents, you better stay safe. Okay,
yeah.
Watch. Cheese now on the quesadilla. Sorry, on the tortilla, you see.
we just called a quesadilla.
Okay, now I'm picking up my egg and I'm putting
it
on top of the cheese, which is on top of the tortilla. Got it?
I love what you did here. There's more butter and more cheese. This is making me so happy, Naomi.
I wish it may. I could bring it to you. Now I could let's grab some more cheese, because why not? We're just gonna
it's a party. We need the comfort.
Yeah, why not? Now we're going to put another tortilla on top of the quesadilla. Oh, yeah.
You got this. You got it.
Okay, now the whole thing is oozing, which is amazing. This is messy and delicious. And it's
we want the ooze. Yes.
If you want, you can add in some beans. I'm going to do that in my next one where we do the after show. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
This is something because this is going to be for Tzvi and that's going to be for me.
Okay. Do you weigh this down at all? How are we?
No, I just kind of I take my spatula and I push it down.
Amazing.
And then
so what I've done.
Wait.
Oh, you're flippy. Okay.
2, 3.
I'm ready. Yes. Yes, Naomi.
People?
So much. Yes. I want hearts and thumbs up.
Let's go.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
So good. You tap it. It's crispy. I'm going to have one very happy husband. We really said.
My husband sends his love. I send my love to everyone. Our families love each other so much, and now I'm embarrassed to tell Nachum what you're making for Tzvi because he's going to want one now.
Nachum, I'll come to Israel and I'll make you a quesadilla with a tortilla.
Right. Now, Naomi, do you eat this like a sandwich, or are you going to do a pizza cutter in half? How are you going to serve this?
I'll take a big knife and then I'll probably water it down and it cools. You need to give it a minute to cool. And you could do all kinds of variations, all kinds of cheeses. I've done salsa. I've done it with fish inside.
I love that.
And then I throw in some
Yeah.
flounder into it. Just if you can get your kids to eat fish, it's so healthy.
Yeah.
I'm a proponent of getting your kids to eat fish. So you can sneak it in, you know. You can do this like as a pizza with pizza sauce and cheese and whatever fillings you like. You can do
also dessert quesadillas, Naomi, with like Nutella or fluff or chocolate and banana.
Whipped cream and
let's just go for it. I need all the comfort right now. I need all the comfort. Now, every once in a while, Naomi, I also get like the larger tortillas, and I'll make the quesadilla by just kind of folding it over, kind of like you did the omelet. Like I do the fillings and then I fold it in half. So that just like also, if you're not as comfortable with flipping something that's open on all sides, that one's a little bit easier because like the fillings kind of folded in.
And I just want to say, in general, good equipment really helps with cooking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm using a big pan here, right? It has space to move around. I'm very, very patient in my cooking life. The rest of my life, not so much.
No patience.
But I'm very patient. A spatula with a wide tip is really good. So I just...
Amazing. So guys, follow Naomi. She's on Instagram. She has a website. Naomi, tell everyone your website.
My website is called NaomiNachman.com or the AussieGourmet.com. I had to change it because no one understood when I was saying Aussie.
Right. I wasn't sure if you had changed it to your name, so that's why I didn't want to say it. That's delicious. Here's her book, Perfect Flavors. She also is perfect for Pesach.
Jamie, I have something special for your followers.
What?
Only for people who I do classes with. This is not open to the public.
And okay.
If you go onto artsgirl.com and you put in the code ZOOM, you get 25% off, another 25% off the book.
Amazing. So you can get that off this classic. Breaking news here, 25% off Perfect Flavors. Naomi, you are so generous. I love you. I want you to eat that while it's hot. If you guys want to follow along on the post show, go into Instagram and you can see us there at 10:05 a.m. Eastern. Naomi, love you so much.
Love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, babe.
All right. Bye.
Okay, this was so much fun. Naomi is such a gem and such a dream and such a good friend. Now, her daughter, Simi, lives here in Israel. Her daughter, her son-in-law, Rafi, their daughter, Michal. And so when Naomi comes, right here, I'm sitting in my office, just there, I'm pointing this direction, are 2 guest rooms. And so Naomi stays there and her other kids come and stay. So it's super duper fun. So we always make a joke that this is Naomi's apartment. So I think she was one of the last guests I had before Corona hit. And so I just told her I don't even have to change the sheets. Like her apartment's waiting for her and her beds are waiting for her. So just saying, hey, Paula, hey, Jenny, hey, Marlene, how are you? Hi, Jacqueline, how are you? How's everyone? Please, guys, let me know how you're feeling today. What's going on? Just the mood and the mode. I always say, like, it's, I used to say take it day by day. It's kind of now take it moment by moment. That is the the overwhelming sentiment to help us get through these times. And so the next moment here of Feed Your Soul is going to be dedicated to a really exciting and special guest. So today we have Nissim Black coming on the show, and I want to share a little bit of his music with you now as well, and he'll be coming on in a minute. So this is his latest single called Win. Check it out.
Victory has been awaiting you. It's yours to claim. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready to win. they gon' listen all night, all night, all night, all night. Yeah, get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night. They don't want me to win, yeah. So they won't let us in, yeah, yeah. Cause they know we gon' win, yeah. Cause if they let us in, yeah. I ain't catch feelings, but I got a heart. I'm like a King David, I'm playing the harp. I look for the ending before it all start. What they put together, I take it apart. Don't really care if they know who we are. I'm keeping it real cause I work for the boss. When they say they won, I say it's a loss. I came by myself, I ain't paying them off. I didn't feel it, catching feelings. They pretending I ain't willing to concede. Know what they want from me. Yeah, I had so much pain in my heart cause of what they did to me. I gave the best of me. Get it, win it, split it, we gon' finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night, all night. Yeah, get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night. They don't want.
Here, Nissim, can you hear me now? And I can hear you? We did it. Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm going to officially introduce our guest today. Nissim Black's road to Orthodox Judaism took him through Islam and Christianity, ultimately landing him here in my neighborhood of Ramat Beit Shemesh, where he makes music filled with hope and redemption. Now, I urge you to hear him tell his own story in his very own words on YouTube. I really enjoyed what you did, Nissim, for Chazak, because it's nothing like hearing the person tell their own experience versus having given it over by reporters. And today we're not going to focus on the backstory. We're not going to look back. We're going to look forward. And I welcome world-renowned rapper Nissim Black. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Jamie? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's my absolute pleasure to have you. We just watched your newest single, Win. That is epic and cinematic. Talk to me about the vision for that music video and the meaning behind the song.
You know, it's very interesting. A lot of siyata d'shmaya with that one. A lot of help from heaven. I originally had this idea. I was reading a book from Rabbi Nachman, Meshivas Nefesh, Restoration of the Soul. And in there it talked about when a person's trying to ascend, in the service to God, that sometimes, he'll try to get through the gates of holiness, and then the other side, the dark forces come and they power up to push him away. And but he said if he's steadfast and he's strong, he can push through and go. And I always in my head thought of this like wild visual for this, years ago. And I just, this song, after I heard it and after I created it, I was just like, I really would like to do this, but it was really a pipe dream. And somebody sent out a message for Purim. They do like this. There was a video that goes around for Purim, and it connects Haman to the Nazis and whatever. So this video goes out every year. But this year I said, this guy's got to be able to pull it off. So I reached out to, the guy who put it together, Lirona Futa, and we sat, and he really made it happen for me. So that's a little bit of the background.
It feels, like I said, epic and cinematic. Was it like a movie set? I mean, it was definitely the end result. I don't know how much happens in post-production and how much is there, but talk to us about shooting it. Like, what was that experience like?
The shooting it, was not as glorious as the end result. No, we were a little understaffed. I was working on a budget. We were like waiting on things to open up to be able to shoot it. I shot that right after they opened up the restrictions here in Israel. So
like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and also to try to get the date, because the song was coming out on the 22nd. And I mean, it was a complete rush. So we were calling the Misrata Briut every day. Can we do it now? Can we do it now? Can we do it now? And finally, they opened up a few more restrictions. We said, okay, we're not going to call. We're going to go for it. And so we went to go shoot the video. And, the police, they come maybe.
Where was it shot?
We shot in the forest of Tzora, right outside Beit Shemesh. I don't know if you ever been.
Here.
Yeah, right there.
Uh-huh.
So we went, and the police came maybe like 7 times, and we just thought every time we were going, and they just come, they're chilling, watching, then they leave, and it was like I'm in a Shemaim,
Yeah.
Hashem really wanted it. We had a lot of, like I said, a lot of siyata dishmai, a lot of help from heaven.
It's amazing. I love that you told a real story behind that, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I was a TV producer for HBO and for CNN, and I was on every set of every movie and every show and every, major concert. I worked on the Madonna concert, the Janet Jackson concerts. Nothing
Wow.
is as glamorous as it seems. And everyone always wanted to come to work with me. And then they got there and they are just bored. Like hanging around on set is not the same as you think. The budgets, no matter what level you're on, it's never the budget you want.
Exactly. For sure. You're absolutely right. Same thing with the studio. I go to the studio, everybody wants to go, wow, you hear a song, come in there, it's just like it's boring. They're sitting around all day watching, we drink coffee or tea in between so it's like, you're right. It's never as glorious as as the end result.
I always say the industry is a lot of hurry up and wait. You're all rushing, and then you're just waiting. And then you're rushing again, and then you're just waiting.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Talk to me about the process of music writing.
Years ago, I would spend more time like in meditation, and I would take more time on songs, and I would write them. Almost like by the time I was going inside the recording booth to record it, I nearly had everything memorized. I was just like, I would really take my time. Each song would take me a long, long time just so I could. So by the time I was finished recording, I was ready to go perform. 6 kids later and having to be home, maybe 3 hours after, 3 hours, after a session, you're not really allotted the time to do that. So, which is somewhat bittersweet, because although I don't have that time with the songs to where I'm so married with it that now by the time I'm done with it, I can remember it so easily, but now because it's so fresh and so new, I can enjoy my own music for much longer now. You know what I mean? Instead of getting tired with it. So I've been enjoying it. I mean, we've been knocking out songs a whole lot faster, and I feel like somewhat of a shift in music, and I've been able to music just is pouring out of me right now. That's how I know when I hit a comfort spot in my music, and and I'm not afraid to go where my heart leads me also too. So
what a blessing to have the creativity pour,
Right.
especially now at a time where people feel the opposite of that. They're not feeling very creative. They're not feeling very inspired. What has kept you in this space during these difficult times?
It's only Hashem, only Hashem. I spend a lot of time in prayer privately, and He's bolded us, and I feel like everything is really coming out from that place. I don't really have too many other hobbies anymore. Like I said, after having a family, not too many things. I was talking to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law and I, we've been best friends since kindergarten, and we're just riding around, and we're just thinking back. It's like we're trying to think about the last time we sat down and had a beer or hung out with friends and was not feeling guilty about something like that, with the kids back at the house. We just haven't had that world of chilling for a long time. Usually if we get together, we go to Tzfat, we'll go to Kibbutz Tzadikim, we'll go to a Mayan somewhere off in the middle of the, that's my outing. So I feel because that's where I get the most rest and menuchas nefesh, that's where a lot of this stuff is pouring from.
It's so amazing to hear you speak like this, because I always speak about as a woman, business owner, CEO, entrepreneur, whatever you are out there, you have this mother guilt that follows you, and you almost cannot do anything without feeling that guilt. It's amazing to hear that from a father as well. Was that always the case, or is that something that sort of blossomed as the family grew?
Yeah, I think as the family grew, you felt it more. I was talking to another friend, he feels the same thing. Every time we get to the airport, it's just so you know what I mean? I travel a lot for work. It's as soon as you get to the airport, it's oh my goodness, you feel so guilty. I mean, I think the comfort comes in is I get a lot of support from my wife, which is awesome. And I feel I am doing 100% what I feel that God wants me to do. So that's some of what I can rely on to give me the strength and the cause to keep going. But You can't sit around at the house all day and look at the kids and twiddle your thumbs. So you got to go do what you have to do. But it is I think I noticed it as my family grew. I started to feel it a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm. You said you doing 100% what God wants you to do.
Right.
How you're largely credited with bringing rap music to the Jewish world and to the Orthodox world. Such a unique mission. Is that the mission? Is the lyrics? What do you think it is that is your mission that you are doing?
I feel like using music as a tool to be able to bring God's light into the world, really. So many people told me that Orthodox people weren't going to listen to my music, and it's a pipe dream. Maybe you should start singing Nigunim. I've heard so many different things, and to be quite honest, I never was to myself saying well, no, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, I didn't care. I felt really deeply and strongly in my heart. I left music right before I started my Gairis, and through a lot of pushing, I guess, from maybe my wife and friends, and then having my own miraculous experience of feeling, I had a broken microphone that started working after long prayers, and I had a lot of simanim, and then I went to go talk to Rebbeim that I was close to about it. And after the way I understood it was to use music as a tool to be able to spread God's name into the world. So I never really thought about, well, who's that audience until just recently, you know what I mean? So I never thought about it. I just always go and do what I feel.
Do you think you have a broader audience now? Have you almost come full circle? Like, you brought something to the Orthodox world and to the Jewish world, but then are you trying to have this very positive, redemption-filled, hopeful rap music back to the mainstream rap industry in the rap world? Is that a desire at all?
I mean, I think it is for sure. I got a lot of encouragement from my Rabbi Arush, who also is, he's very, very big, not only in the Jewish world, but amongst, the non-Jewish world. And I mean, I feel like that's a mission. I think the Bilvavi, Rav Itamar Schwartz talks about Hagayim are the bridge between, the frum people and Baal Tshuva. And I would even extend it to even the Goyim. A lot of people, I come from that world, you understand? So a lot of people talk, even from the inside without knowledge of the outside. After being a Muslim and being a Christian and being Jewish, unless you've been in those religions, you don't know. You can't go on the internet and read something and be like, oh, well, these guys are like this, so they believe. Unless you've been involved in the culture. So being involved in Black culture, primarily growing up and seeing and going to different places, there's a major thirst for godliness and righteousness in the world, that I feel like to some degree that unless we're putting that out there, people will never see it. And you got to be able to speak in a language that people can perceive and understand it, else they'll never hear it, Right. For instance, when Motherland Bounce came out, there was some pushback, from very small. I got very small amounts. I don't know what people said in the diner room, but I know as far as out there from the funeral, I got very small pushback. But the amount of people that were not Jewish that made them reach out to me and talk about God, and faith ministries that were so open to wow, I never knew something existed. The people that were on the video set, the dancers, were just man, I thought Jews hate Black people, man. I want to talk religion with you. So it's one of those things. I felt very much so this is what I'm supposed to do. And I was that kid in the inner city and growing up in my neighborhood who didn't have a lot of Black positive role models. You know what I'm saying? So what justice would I be doing, to another person who's growing up in those same neighborhoods, who don't have a positive Black male role model to look up to, so.
Let's talk about those neighborhoods now. People are saying hi from all over. We have people watching from Utah, from Toronto, from Long Island, we had Georgia before here, from New York, from Philadelphia. Some of these cities and some of these neighborhoods are on fire right now. How do you make sense of what's going on?
It's very, very tough. It puts me in a place of pain so much because, you can only give over your heart and your intelligence, your brain, to so much, you know what I mean, right now. And being in the pandemic that we are, which led to a financial crisis that we're in, which is leading to, I no doubt about this, feel like a lot of this has to do with political gain. And I feel like a lot of people are being misused and abused, definitely African American community, but others also as well, as a to for people to position themselves into power. And I believe it's not fair, and my heart's hurting for everybody, for sure, for Mr. Floyd, his family, for for the people who are losing their businesses. I seen a video somebody has sent me, from my own hometown in Seattle, of a young kid who was pepper sprayed by the police, young kid. And I was pepper sprayed, as a kid, when I was younger. But just, lack of responsibility of people, just like, you're going to go take your kids out to, like, I'm in a state of broken heart over what's going on in the world right now. And it's almost like, well, if I say something, what do I say? There's so much wrong and so much to be addressed that it's a very, very painful situation for me to see.
I think it's painful for everyone. And as you said, it's like one thing after the next has just made it excruciating almost to watch what's happening. I'm asking you because you're obviously such a deep spiritual thinker. What can we do now? What is our mission right now? You've been able to find your personal mission, but a lot of people are here sitting in quarantine, sitting alone. They don't know what to do, how to help the world, how to help themselves, how to be a better citizen of this world, many of which of us are stuck behind four walls. Any kind of advice or thought about finding your mission, your passion, and what we could be doing now?
I feel like, I don't know how cliche this is, but hopefully the points after will make it less cliche. But I think the main thing right now is prayer and seeking answers from above, and we have a responsibility as a Jewish people, but also I would say all the people of God that believes in God, whatever you're facing with right now, we can't. This thing has become so huge and so big and so insane that there's no way to really combat this from a neutral place. It's almost impossible. There's so much emotion flying on both sides. And I'll be, very honest. I'm not very open about this, whatever. I'm not a political person. I don't care for the right, the left, the middle. You know what I'm saying? I care for God.
Well, up and down, no one.
Right. I'm not the people. You know what I'm saying? I will be honest. As a person who's a person that free thinks. Period. A lot more people on the right make more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I'm going to go out and go vote for something, but I just feel like there's like, I'm talking about Black people who are coming speaking from a Black perspective, at least. So I'm just saying that, I feel like right now, America's so divided. And it's only going to take God. There's not going to be no person that could comes in, what I'm saying? We know from the biblical text, everybody talks about the war of Gog and Magog and what's going to be when a Mashiach fights without a sword. He's going to defeat the conqueror the other side with his tefillahs, with his prayer. And I think that's the greatest weapon we have right now, and try to find some grounds of unity and where people can come together. There was a beautiful post that was going around of a young, like toddlers, a young white boy, young Black boy, who were playing on the streets. And they start running and chasing after each other. It was actual video, and the background music was Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." You know what I mean? Which is
I love Marvin. My mom raised me on Motown. She's like obsessed.
Really?
Yeah.
My favorite era of music, by the way. You know what I'm saying? My favorite era of music. Yeah, for sure. Temptation, Smokey Robinson. I don't want to keep going on, but yeah, that was like that's still to this day. That was like when music had its heyday. But when I saw that, I start crying because I felt like that was the only truth there is that, being able, and they had a quote from Nelson Mandela. I don't remember it very well. But I know the essence of it was that people are taught hate. They're not born with it. They're taught it. And being Black, living in Mea Shearim and different things like that, you see very clearly, they're saying that these things are certain words and terms and different things that people may use towards my children. that was taught. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't just learn that automatically. As you see kids in a different neighborhood or over here, or they're not taught that, so that's not the way they respond. So these type of things we have to really, really search and do a lot of soul searching, and it takes people digging in the places that's going to be very uncomfortable for them. But unless you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
I love that you said that, and I think that that's the truth for any kind of growth in any area of your life. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And I love the point of what you said about it's only God. And it's not cliche, because I think that's always only the answer, but we almost had to get ourselves and our world into such a terrible place that it was clear to everyone, to the previous questioners, or perhaps they thought they were non-believers. A lot of us religious people walk around knowing it's only God, that whatever's happening is only God. But we're in a place now where the severity and the intensity of what is happening on a worldwide scale, I think that we're coming to majority conclusion from all walks of life and all people and all religions. It's only God that got us into this and that's going to get us out of this.
For sure. For sure. I think it's going to take a lot of that. Like I said, common grounds. I'll give you an example. A lot of people who have asked me about my story and my family and different things like that. One of my biggest supporters through the whole entire journey, one person that I felt like was never against me, was the most religious person I know in my life, which was my father, right? Father's a professor, Christian theologian, or whatever. Our love and our bond for each other never got in the way of what my religious preference was or what his is. There's never any arguing. There's never any debates or anything about that. I love my dad. You know what I mean? He loved his son, right? That's enough for us to get together over 100 times over, and not to, I'm using a very close relationship, but each person, each human, we're that connected to each other. You know what I mean? There's a common father and a common mother. There's enough for us to be able to get together and agree on than to fight. It's like we're in a world of opinions, and people are ruled by those opinions and those emotions, and they just don't even, once they get into a place, we're not even thinking balance, and the heart just turns off, or on. You know what I'm saying? Half of it, and they're running.
Yeah,
it's very tough.
I love my mother too, and she's watching now, so I have to say hi. She watches everything that I do. And, it's so amazing. You talk so much about your story, just you're referencing it a lot. You've changed your life, done a 180. A lot of us are, whether we're Balei Tshuva, right, we came to Orthodox Judaism later in life, or many of us, not religious at all, have not quite followed the path that our parents thought of or dreamed of or groomed us for. So that's so interesting. I'd love just to talk about the idea. And I'm thinking about this as a parent also for your children. We all have a hope and a dream, and we all hope that they will emulate us, right? Because we believe that we're doing the right thing. So how do you reconcile with and yet still respect when that path diverges so much?
I think the biggest thing is the biggest help for me is that over the years, I guess also too because of my music and because of the story, I've had a very strong appeal with the groups that people will call at risk, whatever it is, and one of the biggest things I realized, and only inside of the Frum community. Can you hear me still?
Now I can. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not only inside the Frum community, but also in my life. That's before I was Jewish, I somehow was always in that same line of work. It's very interesting. And one thing that I notice about it is that it's generally that people have misguided focus. They have strengths, and they're not able to really fully express who they are. It's almost like they're being smothered, and because of that, they go and find some other, way or some other self-expression because they're trying to say something else. But there's a voice inside that's just not really. It's being smothered, And I feel like for myself, because I've seen it so many times over, at least I'm hoping that, it will help me in guiding my own children. Like I see my kids' personalities, and that's one thing I dive in for is I want to be able to guide them in the best place for them. I mean, I just keep it, very straight. I have one son already, and my kids are very young, so everything's subject to change, right?
Yeah.
But the things
always, even when they get older, it's subject to change.
right, it's always subject to change. They come out with Shim put a sticker on the kid, it's subject to change. But I think that, I've seen one son loves animals and loves to build stuff, and one son loves to learn and he loves to daven and he learns that, and this one doesn't seem like, so why can't we, so my wife, one thing she did, she bought books about how all the animals are and how Hashem created them, and each one has their own, so we sort of like, you got to be able to guide the kids in their way, what I'm saying, like Shlomo Melech says, and so I feel like it's a very critical time for, like I said, within, because we're just a microcosm of what's going on in the world. So this is the thing in the whole entire world. Everybody's been for years forcing their kids to practice law because they were lawyers, or to do this or to do that. And I feel like right now it's the time where these kids, they need their voices to be heard. I thank God that I wasn't smothered that way and I was allowed to be able to have that. So I feel like I turned out okay.
You turned out beyond okay, and I think it's such a strong parenting lesson now, and so many of our parent-child relationships are intensified now in the various forms of lockdown or quarantine that we are in. And one of the things that I recently started praying for is helping God to reveal to both us as parents and to each of the kids something special that they have, some special koach that you said, some special power, some special interest or hobby, because I believe that when they find a passion and they find a mission, it brings them such purpose and keeps them from all the other things finding that outlet in some other way, right? Like rechanneling that energy.
For sure.
So I literally was just started to add that to my prayers recently, and I started to pray a lot more in this situation that we find ourselves in. So, Nissim, we got to get ready for the post show, which is going to be on Instagram. So everyone can go ahead and follow us there. So, guys, if you love this conversation and you want to hear more, and it's going to be different questions. There's always like a little different feeling over there on Instagram.
I'm here.
Please follow us. And Nissim, so Win is out now, right? So this single
Win is out now.
Yeah. Anything else I'm missing?
No, I want people to be able to enjoy it if they enjoy it, and enjoy the video. And be inspired from it. I really wrote this from like a deep place. And like, I always say when I go in to make music, I take everybody else in there with me also too. So I try to write from a point that each person could be able to apply a song in their own way. So, I love this song. I hope everybody else loves it also.
We hope so too. We're rooting for each of us as individuals and our collective countries and our world to win. Right? We need to have this thing positive. So, Nissim, I'll proud of you now. I'll see you in about 20 minutes on Instagram, and then I'll say a little goodbyes over here. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, that was absolutely superb. I don't know which part of the show is my most favorite, if it's the cooking part or the inspirational part, but Nissim is just beyond intuitive and insightful. And I think if you just tuned in later, please watch this back, because we talked about so much. We talked about parenting. We talked about finding your purpose and finding your mission. We talked about bringing rap music to the Orthodox Jewish world and then bringing it back over into the mainstream industry, his music of hope and redemption, such positivity. We spoke about the George Floyd situation and the fires raging now in America. So please, if you're only tuning in now, I see so many of you so positive and so supportive and so interested in what we were talking about. So please go ahead back and watch this. This is episode 6 of Feed Your Soul. We're featuring Naomi Nachman making quesadillas and Nissim Black. I'm going to leave you now with his new song, Win, and the music video is going to play us out. Please let me know as I play it if you can hear, please, because I'm going to try do something different with the audio, and I want to make sure that you can hear it. So please just type, if you're watching, hear it, I can hear it, I can hear it, or I can't, God forbid. Love you guys. Watch the post show over on Instagram in 10 minutes.
Victory has been awaiting you. It's yours to claim. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready to win. Get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night, all night. Yeah, get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night. They don't want me to win, yeah. So they won't let us in, yeah, yeah. Cause they know we gon' win, yeah. Yes, if they let us in, yeah. I ain't catch feelings, but I got a heart. I'm like a King David, I'm playing the harp. I look for the ending before it all start. What they put together, I take it apart. Don't really care if they know who we are. I'm keeping it real cause I work for the boss. When they say they won, I say it's a loss. I came by myself, I ain't paying them off. I didn't feel it, catching feelings. They pretending I ain't willing to concede. Know what they want from me. Yeah, I had so much pain in my heart cause of what they did to me. I gave the best of me. Get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night, all night. Yeah, get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night. They don't want me to win, yeah. So they won't let us in, yeah, yeah. Cause they know we gon' win, yeah, yeah. Yes, if they let us in, yeah. I came for the dub, but not for the L. If they move it slow, then we gonna propel. I'm feeling so stuck like I'm lost in the jail, but I take a breath and then I exhale. I only go when I know that he's there, cause he in my heart, so I never get scared. If I'm feeling some way, then of course I'ma share, and I gotta do it like nobody cares. They say it always, yeah. You gon' have to fight him back your way, yeah. I know that he's watching me, so I stay. And now I'm probably winning here, cause I win. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night, all night. Yeah, get it, win it, split it, we don't finish. They gon' listen all night, all night, all night. They don't want me to win, yeah. So they won't let us in, yeah, yeah. Cause they know we gon' win, yeah, yeah. Yes, if they let us in, yeah.
I love you guys so much. Till next week, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Feed Your Soul. Bye-bye.